is happening when it came down to attacking Qatar. I just think there's more to it than that.
I'm telling you, Israel's trying to keep the war going. They want a global war. They want the region to light up. They want to involve America into a war before the administration ends and it shifts to blue. And with the current demographics, it looks like, Montani, it looks like, socialism is coming to America.
You think America would go and attack the Gulf states?
I think Israel wants to antagonize the region. I think Israel wants to start shit, and if it means starting shit with the Arab Gulf, then they don't care.
Okay, so you think America would be fine with Israel starting shit with the American Gulf states, which hold up the American economy, which it's been since 1972, part of the world order.
Because I believe America is complicit, this is also an internal threat. If the United States clearly isn't going to risk the petrodollar or the oil or the global trade, it's telling these Arabs, it's telling them that if you think my presence in your countries it guarantees you securities from anybody except me, you're wrong. And so that's what it is. Israel can also threaten you if it believes that you, even though we are harboring these people, this envoy, these diplomats, at the request of the United States, at the behalf of negotiating on the behalf of Israel, that they can still assassinate, and they don't respect your sovereignty, nor do they respect that the United States is involved in the very process. So they don't respect that. That's the message that we got. So America gave Israel the green light on this. Israel completely ran with it, and now we're left okay, so what is the value? Oh, he left. Oh, you're there. Okay.
Yeah, I got kicked off, and then I had to come back on. I heard you though.
What is the value of having this American military presence, and what's the value of buying all their shit?
So it's telling the Gulf states that there is no value.
Well, exactly. So now, I believe what we're going to see is an arms race. I would arm up at this.
Wait, hold on. If it's telling them that there's no value, then why are they a part of the petrodollar system then? Why not move on to the petro yuan, which has been created?
No. See, I don't believe the leaders in these countries have enough power to just do that. They don't have, nor are they. Their wealth is set up for them to be able to do something like that. Just a lot of their wealth is based on dollars anyway.
So what happens if the Gulf states are no longer safe and can be attacked? Okay, how is that going to?
Dude, this is terrorism. I'm not meaning an invasion or something. This is meaning the United States, Israel. You can think of regime changes. You could think of assassinations. That's all. That's pretty much it. It's that kind of
it's the case that everyone knows that eventually it is in their interest to move away from the U.S. petrodollar and the U.S. sphere of influence. But it's I forget this economics term, but the one where you have 50 mice, they all know that to protect themselves they need to put a bell on the cat. But no one wants to be the mouse to do it.
Exactly.
Everyone is scared to be the one who jumps ship while everyone else remains in the ship, and the U.S. just comes and fucks them off.
See, though, Pastor, my issue is...
Hi, or the Palestinians, or that mine.
Yeah, the Palestinians, you're already in the jaws of the cat, so there's no...
We always are. That's... In any scenario, we always are. The thing is, though, Pastor... If the petrodollar is what props up the U.S. economy through America being able to have the reserve currency, why would America then go and antagonize that system? If anything, they would try to make sure that it is fully protected and sealed up in the rest of the world.
That's the thing, Edward. I don't think America, or even American leadership, necessarily wants this. That's why we always hear conflicting reports from the White House. One moment, Trump is angry about what Israel is doing. Another moment, no, he's okay with what Israel is doing, right? Where there's smoke, there's fire. Clearly, there are people in the American government who are extremely unhappy with these decisions and correctly identify them as uniquely destructive towards America. But how much influence those people have in comparison to the others in Jewish and Zionist lobbies is debatable. And it seems with each stroke Netanyahu pushes, every button he pushes, he seems to prove that, at least in his eyes, the Jewish lobby is stronger than the naysayers.
I'll buy that. So you're saying that America knows that going after the Gulf nations would be against American interests because it would be against the petrodollar scenario that they have set up. But at the same time, those people that know this are not the ones in charge and have the power.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. That I would buy. That makes sense.
I even think some of the ones in charge and have the power know this, but they also, know that they're in a sort of catch-22. Either they're in a catch-22 where they feel they can't actually jump ship, or they're in a catch-22 of where do their loyalties really lie? Israel first or America first? Because the thing is, the straightforward solution for America is just to pull the plug on Israel and say, okay, you can bomb whoever you want, but we just don't care.
Well, I think they say you can bomb whoever you want, except these countries right here, which would make sense to me. And I even thought of with maybe Venezuela, taking over Venezuela, replace Saudi Arabia, and I dismiss this because currently now we need the Gulf states and Venezuela, because right now we have high inflation in the U.S. and that's a result of the U.S. dollar not being as circulated as it was before, because we have China and the global south who are not doing as much business in the U.S. dollar. They still are, but not as much. So replacing Saudi Arabia with Venezuela is not going to work. They need both Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, and the rest of the Gulf nations to counter China.
Yeah.
So it is, so to me, this was an attack on America more than an attack on Hamas.
Effectively, this does way more to U.S. interests than that does to Hamas. They didn't even apparently hit the guy that they were going after.
No.
Right.
But I mean, you're going after those that you're negotiating with. So why would you bring all this diplomatic bullshit on top of you and show the world that they were right? Everyone was right. You're not looking to end the war. You're looking to genocide. This is what your objective is. Why would you make it so black and white for everyone?
Because they don't care. Their survival depends on American involvement. So the Israelis are ironically also in a very big catch-22. They have no realistic objective from this war other than just to bomb because they're angry. The only way this ends up well for them is if the U.S. institutes regime change in certain countries that they deem hostile or otherwise organize and bring them up.
That's quickly update me. Don't start Turkey.
They tell the network certain
No hard attack Turkey.
Israel is correct.
Yeah, and they're calling them dogs.
I should do something.
Hezbollah guys.
What?
I should do something. Is this what?
Somebody was just calling. I was saying the Hezbollah trolls on Twitter. I put a link in the chat. They're blaming Turkey and Qatar for Charlie Kirk's.
Really? Oh, I mean,
And they're just bots clearly, but it's still funny that they're putting forth this narrative.
Yeah.
And
That was
propaganda fault.
That was a professional job, though. I mean, there's no doubt that was a professional
people initially thought that it was like a bullet that ricocheted off his chest into his neck, but he wasn't wearing a vest. And if you rewatch the video, as graphic as it is, it's a straight shot entry into his neck. I mean, the blood wouldn't have spurted out that way.
Is it?
So they have
seems
somebody-
like there's the bounce. There's like a bounce where he gets
Well,
like,
the
it's
shockwave,
like double
right?
impact.
It was-
I don't know.
They said it was the shockwave from the book. I mean, regardless,
whatever,
I mean,
man,
that's
he's
not
dead.
a survivable wound, man.
He's dead, bro. I mean, that's a shot. I mean, it's not that hard of a shot. It's like 200 meters. Like, it's not even that long.
Well, you do need to be at least proficient as a sniper.
This much, I wouldn't have made that shot. Fuck, man.
Dude, you can't even 30 or 40 feet away aiming. If you are not, a Marine could, like, maybe 50 feet away could make that shot. But you
if
need to
you
be a
got a
sniper.
rifle, it wouldn't take you 2 weeks if you practice, like, make something like that. Like, from
Shoot
an
somebody.
elevation, from a high position, like looking down, like
To shoot somebody in the neck.
I mean, I won't debate you
that-
on this. You have military training.
To shoot somebody in the neck. I think it's I don't know. And it happened the day after or the day.
it's a good
the day after?
shot. The guy's good. Like he's clearly. I mean, it's not that hard of a shot. Like there's no wind resistance. It's not that long of a shot. It's just like a close range. It's you at an elevation, like it's in a campus, like it's contained. There is no wind. Like it's all contained. So it's not a bad shot at all. I mean, but still,
what they say, Goo, about
you don't need to be what is his name, like hitman. You don't need to be hitman to make that shot. You don't need
That's
to
the
be
right guy,
John.
though. The guy they caught is the right guy.
the guy
They
that
have
they
a suspect.
yeah.
The right guy is anyone thrown in is not JFK.
Wait, who is the suspect? Goo, what is he like? Or I don't know if they caught him yet or not, but they have $100,000
Yeah.
reward for anyone.
He's like some weirdo, like skinny. It's really hard to tell. Like,
There's actually video tape though, the guy getting arrested or something. There's any convincing evidence besides them telling us they caught the right guy.
I don't know.
well, they
the
caught the old
camera
guy first, and
looks
they caught a
different.
second guy, and they released them both because
Yep.
they weren't the perpetrators.
Looks
And now
desperate.
there's this new guy that they have.
They're trying to make up a narrative now.
I think they're profiling at this point.
So what is it? What's this new guy's name? Is he a white guy?
Oh, they have
They
the
don't
name,
have-
but they haven't released it yet. They're saying they.
Why would they offer $100,000 reward for anyone leading to any information about this guy when they're not releasing any information about him to
They
begin with?
told me if you find him, then it's unlimited Taco Bell.
Listen, we're not going to go down that road again. we agreed. We agreed that is not. It didn't happen.
$1,000 is enough. Like, especially with something like that. That's like you could easily get hit with like co-conspirator or accessory to which would be considered terrorism because campuses are a no firearm zone. $100,000,
Yeah, but
that's
they're not
a
releasing.
big move.
They're not releasing anything about the person that they want, but yet they're releasing a reward.
I'm saying the reward I don't think is enough.
Well, I mean,
I
That's
think the FBI is
just my opinion,
desperate
nobody-
at this point. I think the FBI is desperate. I think the FBI has switched to like profiling, and this guy, because he's wearing some sort of American flag thing, they're like, maybe we got some dirt.
Well, they had to have followed him, like through surveillance.
I would
I'm sure
assume
they
the
did
first
that.
two, they were probably following from some sort of, like, the first thing I would have picked up is the university campus, like, cameras. They clearly
Yeah,
found
they have cameras, obviously.
So,
They have cameras. So this guy though, do we have a picture of him?
Yeah, there's a picture
Yeah,
of
they
him.
posted
Yeah.
on X. It's going.
Oh, we do. Okay, now that's why I was asking. Like,
his hat, wearing a sweater with an American flag.
Nigga, who's we? Fuck the FBI.
false flag. Is he a white guy? What
He
is
looks like a white guy, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely.
He's Italian, but he's Ashkenazi.
Oh yeah, maybe. Who knows?
Looks like Ashkenazi.
But apparently, 4chan. I don't know if you heard about this, Edward.
Yeah.
They
Oh, no.
conducted like their own little investigation.
Of course they did.
Yeah, and apparently it's like some like fucking like weirdo tranny. The ATF agents did say that they found like anti-fascist, like pro-trans, like inscriptions like on the ammunition or something to that effect.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And honestly, it wouldn't really surprise me. I mean, these fucking freaks. And it's funny in fact, like, and I'm not denigrating Charlie Kirk. I mean, the guy's dead, but like, it's like really Charlie Kirk. I mean, he's pretty moderate. I mean, he's not really as radical as they make him out to be, like a Nazi. Really, they think Charlie Kirk is a fucking Nazi, fucking Zionist evangelical. What are we doing?
But he was becoming like, he was turning, dude. He was turning. He was critical of Israel. He was getting.
Yeah, he was talking about Epstein and Mossad. He was even having like a lot of anti-Zionist voices speak at TPUSA. So he was getting like a little cozy. Now, like, I wouldn't put it past Israel to like take out one of their own. To be honest, they've done it before. Look at Robert Maxwell.
What's the like explanation?
So, yeah.
But the thing is, it happened happened the day after Qatar, right? I mean,
yeah,
that's a huge fucking coincidence to me. I don't know. I'm not saying
it's the biggest right-wing organization that has the most influence on the youth. Starts to do a 180. I mean, come on.
Oh, is it? I don't know anything about Charlie Kirk.
I tell you what, there is a representative who talked to Charlie Kirk about a new contract or a new talking points, new section. They realize they're trying to deviate from the talking points, and they're like, you know what? Let's pull up another Hollywood JFK thing, and then we're just going to blame it either on the Muslims or we're going to blame it on these liberals and cause like chaos in America. That's what I think happened. And they're probably all this money as well.
I was confused. Because he, they say he's an Islamist or anti-Muslim, right? Islamophobic.
He definitely.
And he says anti-Semitic things too. I'm like, well, what the hell is this guy?
He's a sucker for Israel. He eats the ass. He
said comments. He made comments.
Listen, I would not put it past Israel to do something like this. I mean, I don't have any proof that this is the case. I mean, we're only working with the information that we have. But it wouldn't surprise me, though, if the breadcrumb trail leads back to that.
He was going to release the Epstein files.
I'm saying I believe that he probably wants to jump on the Epstein file to go to do game more edgy like Nick Fuentes because he realized he sounds boring, just spin out mainstream talking points. But when it comes to Israel, this guy was not anywhere close to anything anti-Semitic. Not because he's loyal to them, because he's fucking scared of them. He was a coward to the day he died. And if he said something even edgy about Israel, it was like on a tight leash. So he was a sucker for Israel to the day.
Yeah, and this is not in defense of like any of the Zionist crap that Charlie Kirk used to spew, but I mean,
I didn't even know who Charlie Kirk was, bro, until he died.
Really? That's shocking. He's been pretty influential.
Can you repeat that? I didn't hear it.
He said he didn't really know who Charlie Kirk was until.
I didn't either. I'll be honest. I didn't know.
This guy was meant to make our generation think like our parents in the U.S. specifically. So if you're not like in your early 30s and younger in America, you're probably not going to know that much about Charlie Kirk.
No, I'm 48, so I don't know anything about. I didn't know anything about. Yeah, he got shot. I'm like, oh, okay, well.
I know about Andrew Tate more than I know about this guy.
You know me too.
It does appeal to a broader audience than Charlie Kirk. Like, part of the reason why Charlie Kirk is so maligned is because, my generation is the one who, or I guess just before me, is the one who kind of realized that, okay, a lot of the stuff we learned in school and in the mainstream media is kind of, propagandist bullshit. Charlie Kirk, given his worldviews, embodies all the propagandist bullshit that, people despise. Right, Pente is actually the one who kind of broke this down about why a lot of people on the right, forget people on the left, but people on the right despise Charlie Kirk because they view him as just like a shill of the mainstream, Zionist establishment.
That's how you know that these leftists who call him a Nazi are completely fucking out of touch with right-wing politics, because the far right that they paint as the enemy actually hated Charlie Kirk. Considered him.
They call everybody a Nazi, though.
A race hawk and all this stuff. Yeah, the InfoWars co-host Harrison Smith said that he had spoken with someone who was like very close to Charlie Kirk. Now it's a secondary source, but he did say that Charlie Kirk was very.
You're breaking up, dude. Broke up suspiciously.
I was going to say to you as well, yeah.
Can you hear me?
I think.
What's the last thing you guys heard me say?
Very. That's it. There's a cliffhanger.
Okay,
Charlie Kirk something.
Yeah, I said that Harrison Smith, who's the co-host of InfoWars, said that he had spoken with with someone who was close to Charlie Kirk. Although it's a secondary source, he did say that Charlie Kirk was deathly afraid of criticizing Israel or stepping on a line in that regard. And he thought he was being hyperbolic. Like, he was just like, oh, they're going to kill me. Like, as in, like, they're going to, rip their funds away or whatever. But I think he was the head. And now we see, if this is the case, right, that might be the case. So,
I won't be
just
surprised.
food for thought. Again, I can't prove any of this. They're just going by what people have been talking about. So,
Speculation.
I won't be surprised because that guy was funded by the Zionists from day one. If you look at his career. So if he was a debate for them, I see the emotional reason. If he can boss him, created him, and I trying to run away from us. So I can see the emotional reason as to why they would do it. And Edward, I always want to say to you, for me, the reason you don't know this guy is because I think he's an industry plant. He's basically astroturfed. He's fake. And he basically got forced into everyone's timelines. That's what all of us know him. He's very unimpressive and just like spitting out the mainstream talking points, saying nothing creative.
Well, the thing is,
My timeline is all AI and
he did own
computing.
those fucking libtards.
no, but that's the thing. The reason why people know Charlie Kirk.
No, I think Benjamin Ford did a better job.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Nothing Charlie Kirk said you won't be able to find from at least like 40% of Republicans in Congress. The only thing that made Charlie Kirk famous is that he went and said it to the easiest, most triggerable, emotional, irrational people in the U.S.
Yeah.
Just American university students.
Yes, yeah, that makes sense.
I think it's also industry plant to use it. He was definitely boosted up on the algorithm, his funders. He's definitely had to push. He's not like other people organic with these things that come up in authentic journeys. This guy's an industry plant.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was TPUSA was bankrolled by the Mercer family and the Koch brothers, Betsy DeVos, all these like Fortune 500 billionaires, and like
These are the same people who are opening the settlements in the West Bank, getting houses there.
This is an Instagram thing, a clip that I saw of his, and he talks about like criticizing his.
Yeah, he got
feels like it's.
Yeah, he got chewed out for interviewing Dave Smith, who's like a libertarian, like anti-Zionist Jew. Mind you, Dave Smith is, again, he like mildly criticizes Israel. It's not really like like it's the Jews and they're controlling the media. Doesn't attack Israel from that angle.
I'm just saying, he looks scared. He looks scared.
Yeah, absolutely.
My favorite Jew from that angle is.
I mean, look at him. Look at this video. He looks like he's very careful in the way he's, selecting what he's about to say. Like I don't know. There's not a lot of people in this world that you could get an American to like kind of be that careful. Like,
Do you know about Max Blumenthal?
Yeah, that piece of
yeah. Gray zone.
Yeah, you don't like him. I love that guy.
I like him.
Because on his publication, The Gray Zone, this guy, I'm forgetting his name. He's some Israeli turned anti-Zionist or whatever. And he wrote an article. He wrote an article covering up for the dancing Israelis on 9/11 and said, "Oh, they weren't really celebrating, and we need to be wary of anti-Semitic conspiracies."
Aaron Mate.
Not Aaron Mate. It's another guy. Fuck.
Okay, there's only two guys I like. I don't know the rest of the clips though.
Yeah, I don't know.
Blumenthal is a sharp shooter, bro. He doesn't hold back, bro. He's a sharp guy.
Blumenthal was the one that went to Israel and the West Bank and did that tour last year and exposed the stage.
David Sheen, that's his name.
You're right, but he's a brave guy. He was doing that stuff way before I ever knew about Palestine was going right now. He was in Israel, he was showing people how fascist the people are. Max Blumenthal is probably one of my favorite journalists of my lifetime. He's amazing still. I don't agree with him everything, but he's amazing.
His October 7th documentary, I can't deny, was like really
Even the
He
fact
exposed the stage that Israel had set up at the border of Gaza last year with the oversized binoculars and the school buses of teenagers, or from high school or junior high, whatever, that were coming in to get on this stage, this platform, and to use the binoculars to see if they can sight Palestinians being killed. And I mean, he was the one that exposed that, and he was there when school buses were pulling up.
So Israel is saying that Qatar has to choose now either to condemn Hamas and kick it out, or Israel is going to do it for it.
I mean, this is getting.
I think Qatar's really angry and they're really talking to the GCC countries trying to get a response. But I don't think Qatar's gonna lay flat.
No, Qatar is a very powerful GCC country. They've spent their money wisely, and they have a lot of soft power.
I'm just loving it, dude. Like they're calling them out like straight up. Like, hey, we're calling you out. Like, yeah, Qatar is like, I'm like, let me get this straight. You guys are calling me out. I'm like, yeah, we're calling you. It's like, okay.
But they want. I mean, they're the mediators.
And they're pushing them to And it's funny about it as well, they push them to Iran's hands. They're talking about was geopolitics.
It's no secret that really Qatar is the intelligentsia, it's the beating heart of the cause, of the Palestinian cause. It is seriously, like Al Jazeera. If it wasn't for Al Jazeera, like honestly, I don't know if it would cause.
Right.
And if it wasn't for the financial support from Qatar, again, they pretty much bankrolled Gaza.
But it went through Netanyahu, the millions of dollars too.
Oh yeah.
So it's not like this is new. And on top of this,
it was a
Doha. I mean,
gave people in Gaza some semblance of life under Hamas and in the light of a siege, in a time where Netanyahu was going to conduct. Israel was going to conduct such an attack to begin with, eventually.
Of course, yeah. But Israel sent their delegations multiple times to Doha, so they legitimized the negotiations and negotiating, and the U.S. did too, and the U.S. wanted Doha to be the mediator, and
this is them flipping the table, dude. They just flipped the table. They're done negotiating, man. They're not negotiating after this.
I agree with Edward though. That's really exposed himself because I watched the interview with the Qatari official with CNN, and he really destroyed Netanyahu. He didn't make no personal attacks. He simply stated the facts, talking about how he's broken every single rule in the rule book. This guy's not civilized, and it's so because he's running the unprecedented thing.
Yeah, he wanted the floor with him. Yeah.
He really did break. I mean, Israel did break massive rules, diplomatic norms that just aren't broken. And it did do a lot of damage to Israel's credibility.
No chivalry in war, right? That's what they say, right?
Except for diplomats.
The whole UN Assembly pretty much was a grilling session for Israel, not one person. And all the Arab countries used the word Irhab al-Dawla, which is like what is the word in English? Irhab al-Dawla.
What is that? Look up.
State-sponsored terrorism.
Yes. Okay. Not one country didn't say that word.
Oh wow. Yeah.
From Qatar to Kuwait to Pakistan, even Pakistan came out and kind of shitted on Israel at the end. And dude came out, the Israeli representative, and he said, "What you talking about? Like, America came and assassinated Osama bin Laden on your own soil. Like, nobody blame it."
How about Saudi Arabia, Z? Did they have anything to say?
Yeah, he said, "We are backing Qatari at any position it would take. All the GCC,
GCC, yeah.
yeah, behind it. Totally, Egypt as well. Like, it's. I mean, thank you."
Israel is a
Thank
risk,
you.
and if the Arabs thought that America is going to contain Israel once it implodes, no. So Israel's like, I'm not going to go down. I'm going to implode, and I'm going to take a lot of you guys with me. And like, who wants to start shit? Like this
Dude,
is
the fuck?
what the
Like,
Israel we're seeing today, and
So
I don't
funny.
know.
you can enjoy the airspace, and then we gonna fuck you on the ground. We get millions of people on the fucking borders.
So we Arabs
Israel
don't
is a
want a
rogue-
total war with Israel.
It's so funny.
The Jews, we don't need a total war.
No, we don't.
You're
They,
gonna
they can do it
implode
for
on your-
themselves.
Yeah, implode on your own. Don't take us out with you, you terrorists.
Yeah.
You know, just realize Israel is a rogue pariah state, right?
Well,
And
you just
it's
realize
also-
this?
And it's also, have you heard about this? The prediction that 80 years. That is never
Yeah.
And it's getting to 80 years. So it's
Yeah.
it might be repeating itself.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I don't believe in that kind of shit, but I can't deny the pattern. I mean, I just can't deny the pattern.
How many weeks has it been since like they announced their operation on Gaza City? Like, has it been like 2 weeks now? What?
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't. They scaled it back to the operation. What they call it? The gate, opening the gates of hell, which is a scaled back version. Which I forgot what it entails. It wasn't. I know.
How many get
It doesn't even have a nice
get
ring to it.
open? Like they've been saying.
Us.
But they're not. But it wasn't about going into Gaza City though. That was the thing.
They came into Gaza City at least 4 times.
Well, they're on the outskirts of Gaza City, and they have gone in and gone out very quickly. But actually going in, destroying and occupying, that
They
we have not done.
They not
Don't you
occupying
see?
shit.
Don't you
They
see?
destroying the buildings.
You get the true mentality of Israel behind the military operation names. You truly understand Israel when you really focus on the
I
operation.
think the name was chosen to overcompensate for the fact that the operation was not going to be going into Gaza City and occupying or destroying Gaza City.
No, they
For
want to
now,
torture us, dude. That's what they want to do.
I don't think they're ready to go in. I don't think they have enough resources to go into Gaza City.
In the meantime,
I think they're afraid of going in.
in the meantime, they can mow the lawn.
No, mowing the lawn is way. I mean, we're way past mowing the
The
lawn.
lawn is
Mowing the lawn was just, cut down, destroy a little bit of Gaza, here and there, just enough to disrupt their economy, make sure that the people, like you don't grow, you don't grow. That's what mowing. Here, it's about tilling the land. If you want to use another the similar analogy, because there's no lawn to cut down at this point.
I'm just so confused. How did so many millions of Christians in the Western world get brainwashed into supporting poor people from the same land Jesus Christ grew up in, getting genocided by some fake Jews?
You still Christians. There are no more Christians. They're all dead. All the saints are waiting to be resurrected when Jesus comes. All the Christians are dead. All the saints are dead. When Jesus comes, they'll be resurrected. There are no Christians, man.
If there were Christians, they would be helping the Palestinians protect the Christian holy sites. That's what they would be doing. That's what they should have been doing all these decades.
That's an actual fact from the religious point of view, but just beyond that, just the human experience. Like people under the rubble, poor people caged up like animals, the land getting stolen,
The
the
mainstream
critters
church.
of the land. It's like every movie.
Condemned this already.
Huh?
The mainstream church has condemned this already. But
You know what, to be fair, the Catholic Church and Orthodox Church, it seems like, Muslims, they need to, the Orthodox Church obviously got the most at stake. But, oh my God, these Western Christians, they're ashamed to the name of Christianity.
you're talking
There
about
are no Christians.
I don't know, dude, you're talking about this very specific subset.
Even here in England, the Church of England and whatnot.
You can't say Western.
The Church of England.
You can't this evangelical Zionist so-called Christianity isn't normative in Europe as it is in the United States. So you can't say
That's true.
Western.
It's a mis-
What's the Western in America?
The Church of England and the churches it's in communion with, some of them have like literally adopted BDS as official church position. But none of these people have military power, economic power, military might. All that is concentrated in the hands of the evangelical. And the evangelical, well, he's made his worldview clear. Dispensationalism, cockery, Jews are God's chosen people, cockery, and all sorts of other heresies that they spout, so...
Was David Smith, real quick, was David Smith, did he run for president last year? Was he the guy that tried to run?
No idea.
No.
No. I
think he might have. I'm not sure.
he was on the Secular Talk and they were interviewing him and he was running and he was talking about, some pro-Palestinian stances, and everything. And then he got into how Jews are the victim, we're victims. And then Secular Talk, what's his name, Kyle Kalinske, he got on him and said, "Oh, wait, hold on, you're victims now. You're back to being a victim." No, we're not doing that. We're not going back to the victim here.
Well, Dave Smith's not a Zionist, though.
Yeah, I know. He wasn't a Zionist. That's the thing. That's why they had him on. And he was doing good until he started talking about, how Jews have been, victims, and they're the victims of, I forgot how he put it, but
Yeah,
and then
this is why I'm wary of anti-Zionist Jews, because they still reaffirm that narrative, that victimhood narrative. Yeah, they're insufferable.
One more final point is Western Jews, evangelicals to be specific, yeah? Well, they make a mock of themselves. I see videos of them in Israel or some rabbi, and you say to his pastor, whereby he is, "Oh, you know Jesus, he's a Jew, you know that, right? We're Jews. You should not worship one Jew, you should worship all Jews." And the pastor, the Christian guy just nodded his head, trying to be polite. Listen to Muslim, you can fly into the face.
If Christianity is anything, it's gonna be like the days of Christ. If Christ is preaching a message and you believe in him, and you go and you participate in corruption and death and hedonism and all of this, are you truly a follower of Christ? The whole message is to follow him, to follow his example. These people, they're not Christian anymore. It's gone. That thing is gone. They've abandoned the churches. They don't follow any of the churches anymore. They rebelled against them.
It's funny, the Western Christian claim Islam is incompatible with the West and incompatible with Christianity and their values and stuff like that. If you actually see pictures of Jesus in the church, yeah, he looks like a Muslim bro. He wears a full kameez, he's got a big beard.
Well,
They rebelled.
but
They rebelled against the church.
wait, this incompatible,
And their kings.
And we're alien apparently.
this incompatible trope that's been out for years started dissolving with the right on the right here in the U.S. because of the agenda, left-wing liberal agenda that they tried to force on all of Americans, and then some I don't know how this happened, but Islamic values started lining up with I don't want to say Christian values, but they call them Christian values, Republican values, and they wanted so they wanted to work together. I've so many Republicans have come up to me saying, how do we work with the Muslim community because of what's happening in our schools and this whole big liberal agenda, and we both, and the Muslims knew about this before we did, and they set up their own schools and we didn't, and how do we work with them and to get them to work with us? And I'm like, well, they don't need you. We don't need to work with you. You shit on us for 25 years, more than that, but since 9/11, and now you want to work with us, but yeah, strangely enough, that
Egypt,
there's no compatibility.
Egypt is by the way, the security of Qatar is the security of Egypt. Egypt, Qatar is.
Oh, really?
And they sent yesterday. They sent like a very high volume warning to Israelis. So like, if anything happens, we would open the gates of hell.
You know, what confuses me from a geopolitical point of view. America's own hegemony of the planet they got, right? It would make sense to have friendly relationship with the Gulf countries, even Iran, because of the amount of natural resources to have, gas, and you're thinking.
Dude, we're talking millions of people. Where America gonna fight? Like America gonna fight all of them on their land? They're gonna get decimated.
But instead, it is doing exactly the opposite of what a geopolitical strategy should be, right? And why would that be? It is because it's not really in charge. It's a subject state. And it's subject by who? By Israel.
Subject government, not state.
Hey,
I'm sorry. We can take on Israel. We just don't have the capability to like do these surgical strikes on Israel. So we don't have that Air Force.
You do have rockets. You just need an alignment.
We got weapons of mass destruction. That's what we got. We got ability to go to war, total war. We just don't have surgical strike capabilities. And at this point, it's like testing.
When you open chaos gates, chaos come to you. Like once you start destroying like in all of the freaking region around, there is nothing to hold on to. Even the
You
freaking
already
government's
saw
gonna
with
fall.
it. You started a domino effect. I don't think there's any doubt anymore. Like I'm not crazy when I told you guys this is gonna go, and it's gonna be Turkey versus Israel, and you're gonna see a coalition, and this is gonna happen. It's gonna go there, and the next theater is Syria. The next theater is gonna be Syria.
It's going down. We've been saying that from the beginning. Like this is not gonna stop.
What do you think about Syria? Do you think that's sellouts or do you think they're wrong Muslim?
I think Syria is just gonna, this is gonna be the Arab horde. Like this is where it's gonna show up from. Like Syria, the Egyptians are gonna do their thing. Like and the Turks are gonna be there. Like this Arab horde is gonna come with Turks, backing them. So it's. If Israel's gonna push this, like it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen.
This is also the time of his training. Like all the people that align themselves with Israel at this time is traitors. So outright known who's standing by who at when. Like this is done. It's a done deal.
UAE is done. UAE is unredeemable.
It's trying to correct as we speak, like, trying to align itself again. So we'll see.
I refuse to even support that country to go on holiday.
I think economically the trajectory isn't in the favor of the United States, and I think like if the conflicts that we see in the world are not gonna they're not calming down, and they're just like the trajectories that they're gonna grow. We're looking at a global conflict eventually, like regional conflicts that are escalating, and they're just gonna eventually meet. And this seems to be what's happening, man. It seems like the world is boiling. Like I didn't know shit about Nepal, and then all of a sudden these guys are like, chasing down their prime ministers, and they're like burning everything.
Look what was happening right before.
America says death to America, death to Israel, and he calls it big Satan, small Satan. We should start doing big Satan Israel and small Satan UAE. Then a Russia dance, man. Also well done.
You stole that from Iran.
Nasılsın kardeşim?
Look what was happening before October 7. It was like infiltration to the education system all over the Arab world.
Abi nasılsın abi?
Is he speaking Turkish? I don't know.
I have no idea.
He's trying to kick it down.
He was saying here by Prince.
İyiyim, sen nasılsın?
Like anything. What's happening?
Hello guys, you right? So I'm from Turkish guys.
Okay.
Are you Muslim?
No, I'm not Muslim, bro.
Oh, that's strange. What part of Turkey from?
He's the camel.
We speak Turkish here, man.
I don't care. Like even if you're a Kemalist, like you should be on our side too. Like at the end of the day, wasn't gonna
Man, fuck
bully
Kamala
all
Harris.
of us.
Fuck off, man. Shut up.
He's talking about Mustafa Kemal.
I know.
I wanna, brother.
Like
listen,
the
brother.
Israelis are threatening you directly now. They're like calling Turkey out. Like, what are you gonna let this happen? You love Turkey. You love the country.
Okay, so
Turkey
here's what
right,
confuses me though about your analysis is how do you square that with Turkey being a NATO ally and beholden to the United States?
Bro, the Turks, they are all about.
Playing both sides.
The Turks gotta play. The Turks are more in check
I don't
with
think
the
you
world.
understand what it means to be a NATO member, bro. Like, what are you talking about?
They're playing both sides.
They are a
Being a
member
NATO.
of NATO. That means they
But they're
answer
also
to the
playing-
United States.
They have coordination with the United States. Okay, sure. So what?
I wouldn't just call that coordination.
I mean, but that leaves you up on a level of a military standard. Like, if Turkey wasn't part of NATO, how would the Muslim world even have a comprehension of like NATO and military class? Like, how would they know?
But he's right though, McCrow. Turkey is fully infiltrated by America. Because of the.
Dude, your jets are your jets. You build up your drones. You got tanks. Like, this is a military. It's not like the Turks never lost. I mean, the Turks never lost their military doctrine.
That's so much that
The Ottoman military doctrine was never lost. Like, the Turks are a continuation of a military monarchy.
Not only are they a NATO member, which means they are beholden to an institution powered by the United States, Mikhail, they're hosting American nuclear weapons.
Yeah, which makes them even greater of a threat. Like wait a second. Like, if Turkey wanted to go rogue tomorrow, let's assume a scenario. Do you think, like, Turkey can't? Like, is it like an impossible thing? Like, what? They're not going to be able to launch their aircraft, like, anymore?
Yeah, but they don't. Oh, are you talking about nuclear?
No, I'm talking about, like, just go, like, rogue against NATO. Like, just disconnect from NATO. Like, I don't want to deal with you guys anymore.
No, that's not how it works. Sorry.
I'm just saying, let's assume there's, like, I don't know, some Islamist takeover. I don't know, some hostility. Like, a war with Israel and no response from NATO would pretty much do that. Like, I don't.
So you think Turkey is going to go to war with Israel?
I think Turkey, the Turkish military, is totally capable of engaging in military operations across its borders without any assist
I don't doubt that there
by
are,
NATO.
I don't doubt that hostilities are there, and it's only going to go south from there. Yeah, I'm sure things are going to happen. There might be, a proxy war that might take place. They might sever ties diplomatically. I'm sure that's going to ensue, right? The more things heat up in the region. But to suggest that Turkey is going to pose an existential threat to Israel by military means, I mean, that's preposterous. That's never going to.
I don't believe that. That this rising coalition, is going to be desiring to engage in a total war against Israel. The whole thing about Israel is containment. Like, it's going to implode on its own. It already is. We can't get rid of the Palestinians. The Palestinians, that reaction is so violent. It's just, they're imploding already. So we just got to contain them.
Okay, so what's holding back Kalani Syria from diplomatically supporting Palestine?
You don't have a power.
What do you mean? Wait, say that again?
He already, supports us. What do you want from him to do?
Wait, what do you mean by support you guys?
He doesn't condemn. What do you want? What do you want him to do?
Military? I mean, they don't.
What do you want him to do?
Why was this so easy for Iran to do on day one of the overthrow of the Shah amidst the Cold War between the U.S. and the Soviet Union?
These Iranians got oil. Syria got nothing.
Well, they have nothing. Well, they surely are a huge geopolitical chess piece enough for the Russians to get involved.
Yeah,
they are pretty significant. No,
for the Chinese, for the supply lines, trade lines. Yes, but what do you want the Syrians to do? They're rebuilding their own country. It's not like they could do much for anyone else.
They
Palestinians
gotta
don't know.
build up some infrastructure, some economy going, and get like Turkish
Yes,
pieces off the
and
ground,
yes,
and get
building
like this
infrastructure.
is we gotta build the infrastructure. Like
Yes,
we want us to go
building
pick up some
infrastructure
runoff
and
on
bettering
Israel.
the country economically means getting closer to the West and cozying up to the United States, which is something you don't want to do if you want to antagonize Israel. That doesn't make any
That's not
sense.
They want the
diplomacy,
sanctions,
though.
dude. That was the whole point, to get the sanctions removed, and that was the whole, and it worked. So now it's just about
you think
building.
This is a
It's about building a Turkish military presence and infrastructure in Syria, and that's getting bombed, man. Like, this isn't easy.
so
not an
this
easy
is,
job.
This is a 3D chess move, is what you're.
Yeah, this is a build-up. This is an encroachment.
So when Jelani talks about building a Trump Tower in the middle of Damascus, this is all about getting closer.
This is
building up enough capital. Building up enough capital in Syria to antagonize.
This is us playing with a child.
Yeah, exactly. This is like, look, what did Qatar do for? Wait, hold on. What did Qatar do? For Trump, they gave him a 747. Why? They couldn't do anything with it. It was 13 years old. They had no buyers for it, and they're like, just give it to this guy. It will make him happy.
They also did it because they're rivaling. Do you remember back in the days, Saudi Arabia and other Gulf countries put boycotts on Qatar for those years, and America supported it. They're also basically trying to get Trump's influence over other Gulf countries, over Saudi and stuff like that.
No, they gave that 747 literally because they couldn't get rid of it. Like they didn't know what else to do with it. They had so many planes.
I want Michaela. You still haven't articulated how this is going to result in the absolute downfall of it.
Check Pakistan. How Pakistan got its nuclear.
Okay,
Israel wants
nothing
to do.
Nothing that has transpired.
Okay,
Nothing that has transpired since the fall of Assad up until right now, in this very moment,
That's less
shows
than a
that
year.
they're pursuing a policy of containment.
That's less than a year, and they've been under the revolution for like 14 fucking years to get Assad off. Don't worry about it. We don't count it that way. The West way of thinking is different than the East. Totally different.
It's just strategy, bro. At the end of the day, if Syria ends up going,
you can't say that. You don't know what's going on in the minds of people who are governing Syria. You can't say that.
Why are you stuck on Syria, though?
No, I'm stuck on Syria because Syria played a huge role. Okay, the fall of Assad and the arming of rebels in Syria, facilitated the isolation of Iran, which was beneficial to Israel. What you guys don't see, you think that this is some sort of... Yes,
Syria would be a much greater threat to Israel.
Do I need to reference the white papers?
Sunni Syria would be a much greater threat as Sunni Syria.
And the Israeli knows that.
Mikhail, that's not
true. It's a much more serious threat. Yes.
Mikhail, that's not true. That's not. No, I can read you the clean.
True.
I can read you the clean break policy paper and the Oded Yanon
Yes,
plan.
you didn't know the clean break
Wait, this is a cult.
Assad is a bitch.
This is your sectarian getting in. This is your sectarian
No,
getting in the way of your
it's not.
thinking.
It's
Wait,
the
let me explain.
roll of the dice. It's not.
That's a bitch. Look at his feeble face. I'm not gonna let this fucking
Okay, let me explain.
rule
It
over
doesn't
us.
matter.
Not only that,
According, you claim to get off of that.
It's not about
If you would let me finish speaking. If you let me finish speaking.
The Syrian military is garbage.
If you let
Come
me
on, man.
finish
Look at
speaking.
this fucking tanky military. Like, what is this?
You're
World War II.
Hold on, he's on a roll. Hold on.
What do you like? We're gonna liberate
And then you celebrate.
Yeah, World War era army, like Assad's Cold War era army is gonna liberate us from Israel.
Nobody said that.
This is actually the game of to play on the minority. Like, how could you
Israel,
see that?
since we're gonna put it all out on the board, Israel is using Assad to facilitate the Alone plan in Syria. That's
No,
what it
that's
is.
not true. It's
Yeah,
the
that's
dynamic
what it is.
opposite.
That's
Have you read the Yanon plan? I don't think you've read the Yanon plan. The plan was to have a Sunni state in the middle of Syria. with a Druze state right near the
Exactly.
Golan
So
Heights.
they want to cut it off.
An
They want to cut off the
Alawite
country on ethnic
an
lines.
Alawite state.
And who's asking for that?
Alawite.
Israeli
You guys aren't letting me finish because you guys are speaking about things you haven't read about.
Bro,
Wait
you
a second.
just mentioned them.
The goal is to have a Sunni state as the dominating
Far in
government in
the
Syria.
south, far in the north, far in the north.
In the south, near the Golan Heights, okay,
It's Jews.
It's gonna be Jews. We
an
already know
enclave that they want for the
We know that
they
they
want the Alawites and
We're
Latakia,
Arabs.
and then okay, you're Arab, so you know everything.
No,
So
we know the
everything.
game. We know
Okay,
the
so the
game.
Arabs know
It's
everything.
We know
the
they
game.
want to make them. They want to turn it into ethno states. We know they want to do that. We know. But the reason
And at
they
the
weren't
core,
able
they
to
want
do
a
that.
Sunni government.
Okay, dude, just calm down. So if I'm gonna go and create ethno states, if I want to do this in America, I swear we had this conversation before. If I want to go do this in America today, what I would do is weaken white people. That's what I would do. Why? Because white people are the majority, and they're the overwhelming majority. So I have to weaken them before I divide America into ethno states. And the same thing in Syria. If I have to divide Syria into ethno states, I'm going to have to weaken the main demographic in Syria, which is the Sunnis. Because the Sunnis,
Actually,
they're everywhere.
you just need to
That's
weaken the governing ruling ideology, not
That's
the
not- that's not-
Alawites.
Yeah, that's not the Oded Yanan plan.
Those were
They
nonsense.
want the
It was
culture,
always
the
the
Sunni
sectarian.
No, you
Yeah,
want to
the
divide.
Alawites,
You
the
want to
Alawites
divide
have
the
no
Middle
idea
East
what
into
you're
small
talking about.
ethno
I
sectarian
encourage you.
states.
I encourage you to read the Oded Yanan plan. Again, you speak about things that you haven't actually read.
I'm
Okay,
literally
you see it
describing
on
to you
Twitter.
exactly what it
See
is.
it on Twitter.
No.
Back on Clubhouse, you regurgitate.
We've read it
You
on
actually-
Clubhouse. I've pinned it in the Pastor knows. They've seen it before. I've been popularizing
If you read it,
on-
you
on
wouldn't have come to
Clubhouse.
such preposterous
No, good-
conclusions.
No. It literally is dividing up the Middle East
Yes.
into sectarian ethno states, where Israel can establish hegemony over all these smaller
Yes, they
states
want to
and
balkanize
establish,
And they want the ruling
There's
majority in
balkanization.
Syria.
That's
And
what it is.
enter that there's no Arab unity. The
Throughout
Gama
their
Arab
history,
Ismail.
Throughout
So,
history, the only
you would
reason
have a
these
court.
fuckers didn't go divide up is because there was Sunni authority, there was Sunni central power. That's why these guys stay in tow. So the only way to go and divide all this region up is to weaken Sunni power. That's what it is.
No,
And
they
so
want
that's what they're
bolster it.
committed. Assad's been doing that. Whether
So
you
if
like
that
it or
were
not,
the
that's
case,
the fact.
if that were the case, why did the United States support the Islamists in Syria against the Syrian government? If it's a net negative to the interests of both the United States and Israel, why did they support the rebels in Syria?
There was a push. So in Syria, there were several groups, and one of the ones that have been pushing is a group that was backed by Saudi Arabia. And yeah, maybe they wanted that one to rule over Syria. I'm not sure exactly where they wanted to go with Syria. Everybody knows that revolution. There were so many factions backed by so many countries: Saudi Arabia, Turkey, United States, France, even. Like there was so many foreign actors in that, but that's what it was, and then Russia kicked in.
And if that's what it was, with all those foreign actors, basically funding this foreign terrorist insurgency,
I mean, listen,
what was the ultimate goal?
I'll give
The
you the
ultimate goal was the toppling
The
of
ultimate
Bashar
goal.
al-Assad's
The ultimate goal was to just Assad now was occupied by Russia. It just gave Syria to Russia at that point. So Syria was now under Russian control. I believe it was better for the West to have a Syrian Russia than it was for them to have a Sunni Saudi, Syria, or an independent Syria, or whatever, a Turkish
beneficial
backed
for the West.
So
for
yeah,
Russia
it's
to be
beneficial.
involved.
Yeah,
That doesn't make any sense. That does not
And
reflect the
Israel and Russia
doesn't
do work
reflect the
together.
rhetoric or the
Israel and Russia
policy.
do work together.
Listen,
Just because
Michael,
of
you're wrong. You're just imposing your category of mind on this.
Russia.
This is just not.
Are you telling me that Russia opposes Israeli interest in the region?
I'm not saying they do, but what I'm saying is that Russia did in
So it
intervene.
is at least in the
You're
favor
not
of
letting me
Israel.
finish.
It's in
You're
the
not
favor
letting
of
me
Israel,
finish.
right?
You're not letting me
It's in the
finish.
favor of Israel.
You're not letting me.
But it is.
No, it's not in the favor. No, it's not in the favor of Israel because Israel did not want. No, you think it is, but it's not.
You can't beat
The reason
that
why the
logic.
Russians interfered, the reason why the Russians intervened in Syria is to prevent a Sunni corridor going all the way up to Chechnya, which would have been a national security liability. That was in their
You're
interest.
still thinking about Chechnya. Khalas, Chechnya is gone.
I'm telling you what the Kremlin
The Russians are
said.
fighting in the 21st century in Syria because they want, like, they're thinking about Chechnya.
Yes,
Oh,
the Caucasus is a very
Fuck me, dude.
fuck me.
And I think you're completely out of touch, and you're forgetting the amount of influence that
Are
the
you guys
Islamic
for
State
real?
had on the Caucasus.
Dude, I mean,
It's about Chechnya at the end of the day.
dude, every Russian.
Please read into Russian foreign policy. You know what you're talking.
Yeah, dude, every Russian of every major ethnic demographic still has a very deep distrust and fear of Chechens being in their society. Like, a lot of Russians.
What does this have to do with Syria and Russia
I
having
just
access to
explained to
warm
you they
waters?
don't want an
They have warm
Islamic
water.
State
That's what they want. They want
corridor
warm waters.
going
Yeah.
to the
And
Caucasus.
they've put themselves in a place where, you know, they are working in the interest of Israel. So meanwhile, like, you know, they're practically the broke queen, the Israel and
So,
like Syria.
You don't think
That's what it was.
there's a connection between the rise of ISIS and the intervention of Russia in Syria?
Yeah,
They're directly correlated.
I think Russia was already in Syria. You had Assad already in Syria.
And they
Assad,
didn't
yes, he
interfere.
had-
They didn't intervene until 2015.
Yeah, because they wanted Assad begging on his knees for the Russians, like selling everything out.
Wait,
and
who's
he
they?
did.
Who's they?
I believe the West, Russia, Israel.
The West was vehemently opposed to Russia's intervention.
exactly.
Listen, the West didn't want the Arab Spring to happen. The Arab Spring
No,
happened.
in fact, they encouraged it.
They
You're a
did.
liar. You know what I'm talking about.
No.
No, that's not true. This is code.
The Arab Spring did happen.
No.
And the Arab Spring was a matter of time
We're
for
talking
the Arab
about
Spring to happen.
we're talking about a
I'm sorry, you don't
9/11
know the street.
a 9/11 project manager,
People were boiling.
Chicken Hawk, Philip Zelikow, okay, ultra Zionist Jew, okay, son of a rabbi, celebrated the Arab Spring. He helped Hillary Clinton overthrow Muammar Gaddafi, and what did he say? Oh, this is going to ignite a new Arab Spring. This is in our interest. He said that in the email.
I'm
We're just
sorry.
gonna disregard that.
I'm not Gaddafi.
Hillary
no.
Clinton says in
I'm
the email,
gonna
the best
Gaddafi.
way to help Israel is to overthrow the government,
Can't
topple
use
the
one
government of
example.
Bashar al-Assad.
Yeah.
Just completely disregard what Hillary Clinton
So-
said, right? Hillary Clinton, the Secretary of State under Barack Obama, doesn't matter, right? This is part of the acid wash the emails, right? That doesn't matter, right, Mikhail? Because
Let me
again,
tell you.
your sectarianism is getting in the way of your line.
Let me tell you. So there is the Arab Spring, and then there's the counter revolutions, and then there's those who wanted to take advantage of the situation for their own agenda, which obviously the United States and the West. And so the Arab Spring is naturally there are people that, again, this is one nation. Like, regardless of Libya and all you see these borders, at the end of the day, it's all one nation. It's all one people. And eventually what is in one region is going to happen in some other region. And everybody was already fed up. It was only a matter of time. And so people, naturally, there were uprises. And obviously what happened in Libya, Gaddafi, with all due, I tapped the head. The guy, he said some bold things. I think they were obvious things for the times. I think he played some cards, but at the end of the day, he's a failure. Regardless of what he did, he's a failure.
It's funny how your foreign policy.
And you knew they were coming for you regardless.
What's
Like,
funny
how
to
long?
me.
But let me finish.
What's funny to me. Wait, hold on, wait. I just want to
How
say
long
this
did
one
the
thing.
people
I have
get
to make this
suffer?
point because I need this room to know this. Is that Sunni Muslims typically always somehow, in some way, shape, or form, always align with the United States and Israel when it comes to their foreign policy takes. This is not a coincidence. And it's not a coincidence that you're saying this as an Islamist when it was Islamists who overthrew
it
Gaddafi
depends. Do we
and
want
put the pipe up his ass. It was Al-Qaeda.
Do we want
These
World
were
War
the same
III?
terrorists.
Oh, it
And look,
depends on what scenario.
and you
It
have
depends
to
on what scenario.
understand.
Do we want World War
you
III,
have to
or do we want,
understand the
like, Israel
timeline.
to be just
You have to
forward,
understand the
self-employed?
timeline.
Like, which one?
You have to understand the
Like,
timeline.
I don't really
Because
want
after
World
Gaddafi,
War III.
after Gaddafi was killed, right, it led directly into the civil war in Syria. directly. Those same rebels then started flooding into Syria and started antagonizing the Syrian government. This is also
we know
something
where
that
the
was noted.
revolution began.
This is
We
also
know the
something that
early
was noted
protests.
in the exchange of emails that Hillary Clinton had.
We know.
They were watching this from start to finish.
We know
But you
the
deny it,
early
though.
protests. We know where it started. We know the people were killed. We know the graffiti that it all started with. We have the whole narrative down. We know that there's been previously a history of uprising in Syria against his very father. We know that there's over 100,000 who were killed in that. So we know that there is a Sunni consciousness. There is a Sunni consciousness in Syria that is oppressed, and view Assad as an oppressor and view him as someone who is a godless motherfucker who just uses Israel as an excuse to continue his military dictatorship. And that's what it's all about. And then he uses Arabism to hide that he's an Alawite motherfucker. That's what it is. And he has sold his soul to the devil. So this guy and his father have used the struggle.
Wait, but what's confusing?
And the only thing that has been working out. The only thing that Assad has been progressively succeeding at is that the UNO plan is balkanizing Syria and putting us, and now we see the Kurds, who are now backed by the United States, they're putting up a front. And we got the Druze, who are half armed by IDF Druze themselves, or by their weapons and their snipers and their night scopes and shit, and by tactical air support, apparently. So that's what we got. And we got an Alawite population that, still has Druze, still has Ba'athist sympathists, and now they're trying to do this Alawite jihad movement, and now we're seeing some SUVs being blown up. So this is what we have. This is Syria post-Assad. This is what Assad got us to. So now we have to deal with all this. Now we have to go and subjugate all these motherfuckers again. So this is what it is. We see that this is a combat. You're combating Sunni presence and dominion over these lands. That's what it is. That's what's happening.
Wait, are you saying that?
And that's what Israel does.
Wait, Herman, wait a second. So are you saying that because of the overthrow of Assad, that Syria is now in a perpetual state of destabilization? Is that what
I'm saying? That now that we've removed the shithole that is Assad, when we've tried to assist this de-animation of Syria that is happening, this is the aspect. This is the spectrum that you're seeing. You're seeing all these. You're seeing sectarianism, and you're seeing these ethno states that are literally about to pop out.
You literally just
they're
proved my
literally.
point.
Okay, but who got us to this state?
That's literally the goal.
Who got
that
us
was
to
the
this
goal,
state?
Mikhail. That's the
No. The Assad should have Syrian society shouldn't have been shaped like this. The Syrian society itself has already been antagonized, and this antagonism comes from the Assad regime itself, yet alone from the historical understandings we have with these groups. These groups do not want our interest. They have genuine animosity towards Sunnis, man. It's just a fact. The Alawite and the Druze will stab me, bro. They'll literally eat me, and they'll put me in their stew, and they'll have a good time doing it.
Don't feel the same way.
No, I'm sorry. You see the Druze right now.
Oh,
you
yeah,
see the
so
Druze
they
jumping. You see these
The
motherfuckers
only
jumping
thing is when
across
you
the
are a
Israeli
traitor,
border.
dude. Like when that happened,
God, Druze
when
are
did that
motherfucking
happen
traitors,
for the
bro.
sake of what they believe?
They're not even Arabs. They lie, dude. Look at them. I swear to God, right now. Go to Grok. Go to Grok.
Druze
Wait,
is
Go
not-
to Grok. Maternal haplogroup.
Mikhail.
Maternal haplogroup Druze. They're all
So you believe it's okay to
They're
ethnically
Jews.
cleanse them on the basis that they're not Arab? How are you any
No,
different from a
not
Jew?
that they're not
And I don't want to
Arabs.
hear this morality
They're not
game
that. Let me
that you play
finish.
about. Oh my God!
Not
Because
that they're
the
not
God of the
Arabs.
Torah,
They're
the God of
traitors.
the
They're
Torah
traitors.
commands the
Dude,
most
they're
heinous
traitors.
of
They're
acts
traitors.
against
They're
groups of
traitors.
people.
They're traitors.
They're traitors. Okay.
They're traitors.
So you think it's okay to
Right now,
Not
raising
all
Israeli
of
flags.
them. Not
Raising
all of
Israeli
them.
flags in Sueda. They're raising Israeli flags in Sueda. They're
Yes,
jumping
that's
up.
one sect.
They're
It's not the
jumping
whole
across the Israeli border. they're jumping across Druze in Israel, Arabs who are supposed to be Arabs,
This is
jumping
utterly
across the Israeli
meaningless.
border, going
This is
participating
utterly
in
meaningless,
terrorism.
and I'll tell you why it's utterly
And then-
meaningless.
And then you
Because
see
if you're
Druze
gonna-
arming and accepting arms and
if you're
calling
gonna-
for Israel to come and take over
If you're
Sweden.
going
So that's
to
what we
say,
have. So yeah, if you're Arab
hoisting,
and you're
if you're
betraying
going to
Arabs,
say-
what should we do with traitors of their own kind?
Okay,
What should
look,
we do?
listen.
Yeah, I remember the law for that is you colonize it. You
Okay.
cull them. You cull
Okay.
them. That's exactly what you did.
So, if your line in the sand is hoisting an Israeli flag, then I have some news for you about the Free Syrian Army. Anyway.
I'm sorry, like, bro, you're gonna come and tell me, I don't care, what leadership do I care about at the end of the day? I don't know any of the leadership. All I know is that this Giuliani guy managed to get the shit show that was all these Islamist factions into line and got them to obey and align themselves with Erdogan, and they got something done. And that's what, and I measure them by their accomplishments. And I might not necessarily trust, and I didn't trust Giuliani at the beginning, but I trust that he's done enough that he has a record now. And so far, I'm going to judge him based on his record. But I've trusted Erdogan from the very beginning of this. So if Erdogan backs Giuliani, then I'm going to give Giuliani the benefit of the doubt. And so far, Giuliani has kept the Syrian people pretty happy when it comes down to standards in the shit show that is post-Assad.
Everything I know
I don't know why this person's off. But yeah, I think Giuliani, what I expect from a post-Assad Syria, he's done with flying colors, and he's been very patient. Like Giuliani has been very patient, and these Druze till today are antagonizing, and it's about containment. And we're giving, and he's giving them, it's all about buildup. There is a buildup, and the Israelis are bombing these depots. These are Turkish weapons. These are Turkish depots that these Israelis have been bombing recently, right before this Doha attack. The Israelis know what's up. They all know what's up. So the Israelis know what's up, and they just said, fuck the negotiations, fuck you, Qatar, and fuck you, Turkey. We see what's up. Like, this is what they're going. The Israelis are calling us out. They know what's up. So we know what's up. Everybody knows what's up. I think let's just say it. We're coming for each other, and it's going to happen. And if it's going to happen in Syria, if it's going to happen it's happening. They made their choice, and it is. The Syrians are not going to live in misery. They're not going to live under the hegemony of Israel. They're going to live as a strength, and they're going to be like Turkey. And if you don't want that Turkey on your border, then come do something about it. Come do something about it. And Netanyahu, keep doing what you're doing. Good luck. We love it. I believe there needs to be a fire under the asses of a lot of these Arab leaders, even under Erdogan, even under the Egyptian military. There needs to be a fire under our asses. And sure, I want Bibi to be this fire. And if it's going to cost us some, some civilian escorts of some diplomats to get it done, some failed operation by Netanyahu to get it done, then more thank you for it. Well, good job. I want it. Let's go. And not to be like a crazy person here, but if anybody saw the UFO footage that apparently has been circulating, and you had like the congresswoman from Florida bringing it up, the representative, and saw a UFO get hit by what was it? Forgot what that missile's called. But they showed it getting hit, and it just kept flying. So I'm just saying, if that footage is real, there's aircraft that can take on a missile and keep going. I don't know what it is. No one knows. It's serious enough that military testify. So it seems to be real. I don't know. But saying there are technologies out there that apparently we don't know about. So just like, well, it's not the United States, so I wonder who it is. I wonder who it is. Guy wants to like still dream about Assad and some sort of Iran axis and all that bullshit. You know, Iran was just doing its thing. It got what it wanted. It's controlling Iraq. The Americans are leaving Iraq. They're all butthurt that the Iranians are controlling Iraq, and they're making these investments in Iraq, and Iraqis are making a lot of money, and they're just butthurt about it. So we're gonna leave now, and we're gonna let these Iranians take over. Like they already took over. They already took over. So Iran used the region. They used the Hezbollah. And they just had their way in Syria. They had their little religious orgies in Damascus, and they bounced. Like that's what happened. Let's be honest. Like when it comes down to the blood, the casualties of the Iranians, and since October 7th, they're still on the least to suffer casualties. So
Iranians are good. They win too. It's like they never cared about
us to begin with. We demanded some payment for using the cause. Just that's it. But Iran was oppressing. It was actually in the favor of Israel, destroying Sunni countries and spreading sectarianism and violence in these countries. Like this serves Israel only. So, and that's why Nasrallah and Hezbollah was so confident. They were like, that Israel wouldn't decapitate them. Like they were so confident because they felt like in a way they were doing Israel's job. Like at the end, an enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? Like that if you decapitate me, like the Sunnis are gonna push in, right? And Turkey's gonna push in. Like Nasrallah really thought like that you could, like Israel would not be that stupid. But he miscalculated, and he paid the price. Oh well. Like, I mean, that's what happens. You shouldn't gamble. Like, Nasrallah gambled. Like, I thought he was supposed to be some sort of imam or something. It's all good. I think we need to get our air defenses. We need to get our stealth fighters. We need to build our own shit. Like this should teach us a lesson. Israel needs to be punished, and we have the power to punish them. So see, but the Arabs have been called out. I think let's see what they can do. But to call out Turkey, that's ballsy, though. That's ballsy. I mean, you're itching for it. You see it happening in Syria, and they see all the depots, and they see all the weapons, and they're like shitting themselves, and they're like, they're gonna just start calling you guys out right now. I'm like, don't give away the plot. Like, don't reveal the movie, No spoilers. Yeah, there you go. No spoilers. Like, don't spoil it. Like, that's supposed to be something for like 10 years from now. Like, it's like they just want to rush it. Like, which I don't blame them. Like, at the end of the day, what are you gonna, if you stop the war, then Syria is just gonna build up. It's gonna build up all its weapons. Syria's gonna just build up all its weapons because there's no war. You gotta respect the borders of the other countries and all that. And then what? You're just gonna watch Syria at a distance just build up its weapons and build Turkish military bases and infrastructure and like start flying 4th gen and 5th gen aircraft? Like, is Israel just gonna sit there and watch that happen? Of course not. Of course it's not gonna sit there and watch that happen. Don't be stupid. So this war is going to continue, and it should continue, and it's going to involve Syria, it's going to involve Lebanon, and that's if the Egyptians and the Jordanians like don't get involved. I mean, at this point, like Israel attacking Qatar is a good reason like to like start moving. Like, you know, now the Gulf country has been attacked. I mean, it might be taking it a bit far, but like, you know, maybe we can press the Israelis a bit more using the Egyptian military. I don't know. But if we're just gonna rely on like the Syrians, I don't. The Israelis are not gonna let us. Like, they're just gonna keep going. They're gonna spread the war to Syria. So, and if the war spreads to Syria, like Turkey's gonna have to get involved. So it's inevitable. It's inevitable. Like, we're facing a global war, and Israel isn't gonna take the L. So it is what it is. I think this strike just proves it. Like, Israel's committed at this point. I think like the strike symbolizes the end of negotiations, the commitment to war, the commitment to regional war. You attack Qatar, you call out Turkey. It's straight. Israel is being very clear. Like, that's it. Israel's being very clear on this. You know, we're going for a regional war. Or we're going to threaten with a regional war. And if you guys don't want a regional war, you guys submit to our demands. Which is kind of what Edward was pressing earlier, kind of thing. We'll see. Obviously don't want to be frantic. They don't want to rush it. But I think kicking out the ambassador would be Israel's embassies, all that in the Arab world. That would be a start. I think that would be fair. And then going from there, that would be the first response. I just don't think Qatar is gonna let this slide. I don't think it's gonna. I think people underestimate Qatar a lot of times, and they forget that Qatar survived like a siege by other Gulf nations, and they brought Turkey into Qatar, and they've have a pretty modern air force. Like, I mean, yeah, and they got a lot of wealth. They got a lot of money. And their gas is playing a key role in keeping Europe, on its knees when it comes down to Russian gas. So that, and American gas. So. Qatar has quite a few cards to play in. It's an act of desperation, I think. But I like it. I like Netanyahu. I like keeps everything exciting. It's as expected. Sinwar really read Netanyahu like a book. Like, he read him like a book. Honestly, like, I didn't. Either Sinwar's a prophet or Netanyahu's that predictable. And he is. He's your he's your boy. He's your Boy Scout. Like that thing is, he's so good, and because he's optimal, it makes him predictable. And I didn't think like Sinwar's crazy, bro. Like Leif is crazy. I don't blame them. Like they got to that point. Like they're just like fuck it, right? Yeah, they're getting to that old age. Like, what are they gonna like old age and die? Like, what are they gonna do? Like, just grow to be 80 and 90? Like, of course not. So they use that against them. They pick the timing, like the way the domino effects are falling. Like, it's just like when they said regional war, like it was like. And like Sinwar's been talking about this. This wasn't new. Like Sinwar and like officials in Hamas have been like discussing this. We have videos go back to like 2014 almost. Like it's not something that's been hidden. Like this notion of this like large scale attack and kidnapping and taking captives or POWs or whatever. Like even taking hold of kibbutzes on the outskirts, like they even discussed that. So that's all been discussed in public. So that they were able to pull this off, even though that they gave out this information. Israel knew that Hamas had these capabilities, and yet they still got them regardless, and like spectacularly like humiliate them on October 7th. I mean, I don't know what it was about the RPGs on October 7th, but those things one-shotted those Merkabahs. Like, I was like, I still have the footage. I look at it and I'm like, what changed about the tanks that, like, this is, like, not how it is now? I don't know. I guess that reactive armor does really kick in, doesn't it? We give it less credit than it's due. But yeah, that shit saves lives, huh? Yeah, but it was spectacular failure, and they got him. Like Hamas has been pretty good so far at like predicting every move. Like they've been ahead, and I think like the strike is clearly like frustration of that. At the end of the day, you got Khalid Mashhad and Haya. They're just like in Doha. They're just like chilling, and they're like negotiating from like villas and shit. Like they're not, it's at the end of the day, it's like what? They're chill. Doesn't seem like anybody's panicking. Like Hamas is chill enough to like negotiate and then negotiate again and negotiate again, and like they're just chilling in Doha. Like, fuck that shit. I mean, they're winning. They're winning. I don't know. They're winning. Who would have thought? Like, I'm a Hamas groupie too, but like, shit, like. Gazans, right? Like, how sophisticated can they be? Like, they're sophisticated, right? Yeah, they got it down to a formula. Listen, in Gaza, there was a very popular game we played, and all the top kids, like smart kids, and it was a skill, like we would go to cafes and we would play strategy games, military strategy. And it was Command and Conquer Generals. And in Command and Conquer Generals, there are only 3 factions. There's the Global Liberation Army, which represents the Muslim Ummah. Like literally, it's the Muslims. And then the United States of America, and then China. There's not even a European faction. Like it's just like that's truly what it is, and we're in this game. The game is a world war, a global conflict, where China, the United States, and the Muslim world are interlocked in this war. And in this game, the GLA doesn't have an air force. You don't even have an air force. So you're fighting, and the tactics are tunnels. You use tunnels, you use mass mobs, you use like garrisons in buildings, biological warfare, missile systems. You have like long range missile systems, and you're playing this. And people in Gaza have been playing this game for at least like what, the 2010s. So it was a very popular game, by the way. And they've been playing this for a decade, like over like 2 decades now. So, when I see what's happening in Gaza, it reminds me a lot of that game. I see like the tunnels and the hit and run tactics, and it's just like the back of the pickup trucks. Like that's a unit you actually buy in that game. That's your first unit. You spam that unit a lot. Like you want a lot of, these pickup trucks because they're very mobile and fast. So I'm just saying, like the Gazan mind has been like tech savvy, dude. There's like strategy, and they strategize it. Like they're all about like gamifying it all. And I mean, we have your strategy book. We've got the Israeli strategy book, so we know what you did in Lebanon. So we know the playbook. We know exactly what you got. So we know that we're not going to be the PLO. Like there's no surrendering. Like you're not going to surround the camps like Sharon did, and with the tanks, and there's no Christian militia, Maronite crazy heads that are going to come in and do your dirty work. And you guys are too scared to do your own dirty work. So it's like, you're checkmated. And human shields, you want to say human shields all day long. Who gives a shit? We got 700,000 people in Gaza City. Come take it. Come take it. Come take it. Gaza City is where it's all at. That's where the business is. That's where the mind, that's where the heart is. That's where it's everything is Gaza City. You know that. You left it for last. You went through it. Okay. You didn't. See, I thought you might have done worse, but I'm looking at it. I got to see some of the aerial footages and stuff. There's still a lot of Gaza City. It's hit. It's battle hardened. And it's battle rocked for sure. Towers have gone down, but there's still enough there to recognize it. And there's a lot of people still there, and they're not leaving. And these are like the motherfucking stubborn people. These are the Gazans, and these are like the high-level refugee Palestinians who made it. So you're dealing with the cream of the crop, and it's not going to be a cakewalk, and we already saw it's not a cakewalk, right? So, And what's up with the Israeli military? Like, just, you got people running up to tanks and just, like, dropping explosives in them. Like, how many times is that going to happen? Like, I mean, I'm already counting, so this is the third time this happens. I mean, there's 4 soldiers in Gaza. Like, what was that about? Like, what was that? Wasn't that a waste of life? Like, that's a Merkava tank, by the way. That's like millions of dollars. That's like 4 people, and imagine the extraction of that charred up tank with 4 IDF bodies in it. Like, you can imagine that kind of processing, right? You can imagine the man hours that's gonna take to like peel these people out of that tank, right? Like, people don't measure all those costs. Like when a military, like they think a military is just like a bunch of soldiers with guns, and like they're like point them that way. They don't know there's a whole like mini society running behind, and all of that is the military, and that costs a lot of fucking money. They don't know that. You know. So just like parked there, like it's fucking weird in the middle of Gaza, like with a hatch open. Like, what the fuck mentality is that? Like, what kind of military training is that? Just like pops it, throws in an explosive, and just like runs off. Like, these kids are gonna be like movie stars, like, and for the future generation. Like, these guys are just like, imagine now you're a 10-year-old Gazan kid watching this shit. Like, imagine that. Like, that's fuel for a whole new generation right there. And my generation is fueled by, like, a few little kids that have thrown rocks at tanks and got, like, killed. But this generation is going to be fueled by, like, a bunch of, like, 20-year-olds, maybe even younger, maybe, like, 20s, maybe young 30s, maybe, running up to tanks and, like, just blowing them up. So, yeah. I don't know if this is what it means to have a Gaza.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, you want to say anything?
My sentence. Yes.
Well, you wake up and then come back. Yeah, unless Israel can really commit to Gaza, like, I don't. But this doesn't look like committing to Gaza, does it? It looks like you're, if an operation in Gaza looks like you parking tanks and just leaving hatches open, then you're not gonna do in Gaza. Like, I don't know, maybe they're waiting to get resupplied with, like, bunker busters from America. I don't know, maybe they're not manufacturing them fast enough. I don't know. Maybe the killer Death Star needs to be cooled down. But, if they're, like, worse, if them doing their worst is gonna take them a year, then, if it's gonna take a year, you already lost. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's gonna take you a whole year. You already should just call it. Starting wars with the whole region, is it gonna do you a favor? It's not gonna, just accept it. The whole Zionist project, it was never meant to succeed in the region to begin with. Go down quietly, don't go down, don't try to be a suicide bomber. Don't, there's no honor in this. Just go down, peacefully, everybody dies, it's okay. You're chosen to die. You're the suffering servant, right? That's what they want to be. They want to be the suffering servant. They want to be Jesus. Let them be Jesus. The Jews have to suffer for the coming of salvation, right? Sadistic logic, right? God chooses a people so they can suffer, so salvation can come. Salvation through suffering. Judaism. But I'm gonna suffer. I'm gonna make
make everyone suffer too.
Not gonna lie.
You have this anon just sitting here. What's up, Dimitri?
So lazy being a mod.
Hey, Royal. Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good.
What's the
What do you
topic?
think of we're talking about the strikes Israel did Qatar. Well,
Okay.
I mean, Mikhail's doing most of the talking. I'm kind of sick, so. Oh, you left. Yeah, I'm not really talking too much. I'm kind of just listening because I'm not feeling great myself.
Yeah, you're the sole mod now. Doctor, why don't you come up, bro? Dr. Omar.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hello, Freddie.
What's up?
Hi, Royal. I heard that you're sick. I hope you have a speedy recovery from whatever disease you have.
I don't have a disease, but yeah, thanks.
Anyways, Royal, who are you thanking? You're thanking Israel for striking Qatar.
This is
Did I
not
get that
my room, dude. This isn't my room, bro. No, it's the satire title.
Royal, do you actually have a cow?
No.
Oh,
Royal, that's not even you in the picture, I swear.
no, that's her. That's her.
No, man, this is an AI of me, bro. I don't care.
It's an AI, but it looks like you, right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna post pictures of my actual face.
No, of
here.
course I understand that. Of course. But, like, this is very much how you look like. I'll take that as a no.
Shit, Freddie, you're that guy.
Which guy? The guy?
You're that guy.
What do you mean?
You're that guy everyone's got beef with.
Yeah, that's true. You got me.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Charlie Kirk. Let's talk about Charlie Kirk getting shot in the neck with a .308.
No, let's not.
I'm so bored of it at this point. Like, I really don't care.
Bro, somebody died. Somebody lost their life, and you're talking about boredom.
Yeah.
It's not about your entertainment, dog. It's about somebody's life.
Die every day. Who the fuck cares?
He had 2 children. He had a wife.
Okay, and children are being killed, bombed, raped.
He was 31 years old, bro, and he lost his life. He got shot in the neck.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate, but it's also
Now somebody else is gonna be fucking his wife.
hundreds of thousands of people and all over the world who are being killed and slaughtered and raped. Like,
That's just you being fallacious. It doesn't matter. Every life has a value.
What does that even mean?
It's like a fallacious way of reasoning is what I'm trying to say.
I bet his
Yeah,
wife is
like,
happy as
dude,
fuck.
like, I
I
don't
bet
give
they
these
have
girls
life
any kind of,
insurance.
like,
I bet she's happy she's about to be a millionaire. I'm sure she is.
But somebody else, I know she might be happy, but what I'm gonna say is, like, I'm sure Charlie isn't happy.
Well, Charlie's dead. He has no time to be happy or sad.
Yeah, that's true.
I think this is going to be the start to, like, more deaths of influencers, though. Because essentially that's what he was. He wasn't, like, fucking political pundit. He didn't have, like, the same amount of, like, clout or significance as, like, Tucker Carlson and these other ones. He was just a fucking influencer. And I think slowly we're going to start to see, like, a lot more of these kinds of things happening amongst.
You think the next is Ben Shapiro?
We're not that lucky. But I hope so.
Well, obviously this was like controlled. This was done by the Trump administration. Like, there's no fucking way somebody else did this.
Bro, honestly, that's what I thought as well. I think
It's probably some random motherfucker.
No, I mean, Mikhail, if it was a random motherfucker, he wouldn't. He would. You know the fact that they shot him in the neck. Yeah.
Yes,
The
that
fact.
was sniper. That was
Not a hard shot.
No. It's not. It's not about it being a hard shot. Listen, I myself have played nationals in sniping, right?
Exactly.
I'm gonna tell you.
People would make that shot.
Yeah, it's not a problem. Making the shot is not a problem. The point to be understood in this entire situation is that he was shot in the neck, not in the head, not in the chest, not anywhere else, but in the neck. Why would you shoot somebody in the neck when you have a clear view of their head? Because you want to make it dramatic. You want to make it bloody. You want to get the attention of the masses. You know, you got to think like a sniper. You can shoot somebody in the head, and it'd be very anticlimactic.
I get it.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
So it was done for a show.
I think maybe the person was aiming for the head and they missed. You never know. They just got
You just said it was an easy shot, and now you're saying that he missed.
There's always going to be a margin of error.
Could you imagine?
There's always going to be a margin of error.
The same thing they done with Trump. Trump like sat there with his cronies and was like, "Well, when someone tried to shoot me and they missed, it worked out really well. Let's try and do it with this guy." And they just fucked up the whole thing. That would be funny.
He was shot in the neck on purpose. From the impact, I could tell it was a 308. The way his body did that.
It's fucked up.
It's fucked up. That's the world we live in. I wouldn't kill somebody for their opinion, because I'm not like them. You know what I mean? But, did I like this guy? Fuck him, no. But now he's dead, so I'm not gonna talk bad about him. Because he's dead.
Yeah. Wow. Someone wrote.
Well, that's an easy way to get your account banned. I would suggest you delete that comment if you want this account.
Yeah.
Say for,
So, yeah, what's this about Trump having a stroke? Is that right, Chucky?
His mouth is falling down one side, isn't it?
I was watching the news earlier, when he was making his speech, people were speculating that he had a stroke, but nothing came out officially.
What did he look? TV?
His mouth was like falling down on one side, like it looked like he had a stroke, yeah, but a mild stroke probably.
So we'll have to look that up.
We didn't hear that, mate. Mate.
I believe he deserves far more than that.
Hi, Luna.
Yeah, we didn't hear you then either.
Sorry. So I said that Trump is far more bigger punishment than what you think with a mild stroke. Because he can't be complacent, with the same genocide. We think God is gonna give you good life. Never.
How are you, Luna?
Yeah, good evening, Scotty. Good evening, good evening, Sky. Long time no speak.
A fellow Brit.
A fellow Brit in it.
Get me.
Guy does know me. Maybe he's just pretending he doesn't at this point.
No, I was just talking. Yeah, hey, Lula, you got another new name.
I know. I like to just keep people on their toes. How you doing, bud? You all right? Keeping well?
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah.
Very pleased to hear that. Good to see
you. Yeah, Scotty's only been on this app like 3 weeks now, is it, Scotty?
Yeah.
And you haven't gone insane yet, no?
I'm on my way.
I know that Lula's been on. I've been on this 5 years, and I think Lula's been on it like 4.5 at least.
I'm 4 years next week, actually. Yeah, September 21. Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting space, that's for sure.
I managed to get a house up to 2,200 in 2.5 weeks.
Well, that's very impressive. Well done. You obviously got a lot of good stuff to say.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. It depends on you lot. I'm just watching this video here and seeing if he's had a stroke or not. He said it's never happened, it's fake news. Perhaps they're referring to another candidate from another party.
Certainly looks like a stroke. His mouth hanging down one side and he looks really out of it.
It's really interesting to listen to you guys, you know. Hey, you have a stroke, you know. It's like both of you waiting for that to happen.
No, because that everybody's saying that he can't use his face. So I want to see if he can use his face or not.
Yeah, he can.
Is this today that this has happened?
Yeah, apparently.
No, like the guy has like.
It doesn't look any different to me though.
No. I think you know, like from.
Maybe Milan just slapped him.
Medically, he can have stroke. You know, he's probably obese, not just overweight. Sufficiently aged. Okay. And I don't know. I don't think that he's a healthy guy, so he can have stroke. He's prone to have stroke.
It might either be his actual distress about what happened last night, or his acting distressed about what happened. Not that I'm a cynic about Trump or anything.
I wouldn't wish him dead or anything. Jesus Christ, no.
Oh no, I meant because of what happened with Charlie Kirk. He could be just so distraught by it because it was his mate that he's upset and that's why he looks different today. Or it could be that he's putting that on slightly because he's also Donald Trump. But I don't wish harm on anyone, including Charlie Kirk. I think it's terribly sad.
Me too. Exactly the same.
Donald Trump doesn't care about anyone except himself.
But he does care about his image, right? So if he looks like he's been troubled by it, then that he would think that he would get sympathy as well, because he's going to utilise this to rally more free speech.
Yeah.
There's no doubt at all. I mean, there's actually a lot of conspiracy theories that he martyred Charlie Kirk in order to push that narrative. I mean, I so hope that's not the case. But honestly, I wouldn't put anything past him.
Well, you do get a thing called free speech, but you can't get free speech without consequences. So, in Britain, you know where we are. We're allowed to say what we want when we want. But this just goes to show that you can say what you want and you can do what you want when it comes to things like free speech. But it does come with consequences.
Yeah, and it's interesting. My dad was saying earlier that it's sad that a young man's lost. I was talking to my parents on the phone about it, and he was saying, it's sad that this is a young man, a father who's lost his life, but actually how much violence has he incited by some of the things he said against other people. So you're right, there are consequences to that. It doesn't mean it's right he's been killed, but it's violence, hate breeds hate. Love breeds love, right? The old Martin Luther King quote, better than I would, but...
Yeah, it's never a true word said. You can say what you want, and we can say what we want. Like I could say some nasty things to some people, but it does have consequences. It can ruin the rest of their day, for instance, or it could cause their older brother, their older sister to come and exact revenge of their own type on me or whatever. So there is to a degree you can avoid it. You're prepared to do that. And sometimes my gran would say to me, "You say it best when you say nothing at all," like the old song used to go. The Westlife song, I believe.
Yeah, Ronan Keating, wasn't it? You say you say nothing at all. Yeah, sad that.
Yeah, sometimes it makes a big difference. It makes more of an impact when you don't say nothing at all.
Sometimes it's better to just hold your peace, isn't it?
Yeah, and just keep it held inside because, like you said, there's a father with 2 kids. It's not now. They've got to grow up without a dad now. But he took that, especially with the things he was talking about. Anybody with common sense would know that's a hot topic to talk about, and some things you just do not talk about, and you do not talk about it to that stage where you're on a stage worldwide.
And if you think about historically, like someone like Martin Luther King was assassinated because he was, quote, controversial, which is crazy for us now, but he was at the time, but he was peaceful. He wasn't inciting hatred, he was inciting love, and he was still assassinated. So obviously, if you're going to be inciting hatred, which, you know, he was with a lot of the things he was saying, you know, particularly about the LGBT community, about race, about all kinds of things, and then weaponizing his Christianity against people, and I'm a Christian myself, and I still recognize that's what he was doing, then that is going to push a lot of buttons, and in a very unstable world where mental health is at its highest, in a place where you can buy a gun in a shop, it's risky. And again, I'm not saying it's okay, but I think, you know, you or I going around our lives are not going to incur the same kind of level of threat, are we?
Yeah.
You know?
Did you see him saying that, you know, a few gun deaths a year is a price worth paying for
Second Amendment
protection?
Yeah.
I don't think he would have changed anything. I think even if you told Charlie Kirk, you said, hey, look, you're gonna have to die for your cause. You're gonna get shot in your neck in front of your kids. I don't think that would have changed anything, to be honest with you.
No, me neither. How are you, Lozen?
I'm good, but I don't know why my baby's crying.
Oh, bless you. See, I wouldn't know it was you until you spoke again then, because I've had that many. I've called that many people Lozen, and it's not been you. It's just your voice. I can tell when it's you now, because the name changes. It just I can't keep up with. Why can't everybody just be called the same name, like me?
Yeah, sorry, Scotty. This is like my other account too. This is like my chill account. But
I've got another account as well.
Yeah. Usually I don't speak up that much on this account, but yeah, I mean, see, that's the thing. I don't even really. I've never really liked Charlie Kirk, but
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Such a likable guy, though. What a lovely guy he was. So,
You know, I mean, I feel sympathy for his kids. I feel sympathy for his wife in the sense that, like, they're, I don't know, maybe not, I don't know about his wife, but his kids for sure. And, you know, like, I see a lot of people saying, like, kind of celebrating his death, and it's like, you become a person like him, you know? Like, with the gun thing, I also believe in my amendment rights because I don't know, that's kind of just, I don't want a tyrannical government to come and try and murder me and all of my fellow countrymen. But
yeah, but that's what's happening in America now anyway. And, you know, you got so many guns, but they, you know, like, when are you going to start fighting back with this tyrannical government?
yeah, see, that's the thing.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, I get it, but shoot. Sorry, I keep getting distracted.
I find it a really interesting perspective, the idea that I have a gun to stop gun crime.
I don't even think it's to stop.
Hang on, sorry. I'm not saying that's exactly what you're saying, but I hear that a lot from Americans. And obviously, as Brits, we find it bizarre that it's kind of something that people just have away in a cupboard and you can buy in a shop. And I hear, well, it's to lower gun crime, but that's clearly not working. So, I mean, I would just get rid of the guns myself, but, you know, that's just me.
I mean, that's pretty great. Us considering that loads of Brits are getting stabbed on a daily basis, like, not even from guns, like, or from knives that you buy from a professional store.
This is just
but you can't do the same mass damage with a knife. You're right, knife crime has increased, but you can't create the same damage with a knife as you can with a gun.
Can I just add to that? Can I just add? Not on a knife crime.
Can I say something
But I think the whole idea of like this
can I?
ban guns and all of that stuff. No, I think what there should be, just like in the UK.
Can I just add to that, Aaron, quickly?
I think there's a level of extremes where one side just completely wants to ban, another side think they're allowed to buy a fucking AK from a Walmart, and I think that's obviously ridiculous. But there needs to be a plan.
No, I was just agreeing with you. That's how I feel. Like, I don't think that they should be so unregulated. I don't think any freaking whack job should be able, and also I think you should be forced to take classes periodically, like every 6 months to a year. You should be forced to take gun safety classes, because it's amazing how many people own guns and they know nothing about gun safety or anything. They don't make them take classes. You know, I could go to Walmart right now and buy a gun. That's the thing that I really don't like, you know? But yeah, sorry, continue. I was just agreeing with you because, yeah, I mean, it's like one thing to own guns. That's why we have the amendment, right? But to just make them accessible to any crazy a-hole,
I completely agree. But what I don't like is when people try and draw the argument of like the UK being, and I'm not saying Lula done this, but like a lot of people in Europe or in other countries, they kind of like draw the argument and they try and present ourselves as if we're just so civilized and like modern, all of this stuff. I think at the same time, Britain's a bit ridiculous. Like if someone comes, say, into your house to try and burgle you or hurt you and your family, you can't fucking hurt them. That is ridiculous. But
but I'd rather that than kill someone with a gun.
Can I say something?
You don't have to kill someone, but I mean, like, if it's a case where it's you or them and they're physically trying to hurt.
Yeah, but Dimitri, let me just say something to that, right? When is the last time you've heard on the news or chat GPT or whatever you like to do that you've ever seen or heard of anyone in the last 25 years of anybody that's gone into somebody else's home while they've been inside that home and burgled them and used a knife or a gun?
Bro, are you joking? Like, it happens all the fucking time in the UK. All kinds of burglaries happen.
Tell me once.
I mean, I couldn't give you a specific date off the top of my head right now. Fucking
one case.
Bro, you're being ridiculous. Look it up yourself.
I'm not being ridiculous. I'm not being. Listen.
Bro, you're joking. There's literally like.
I've done a lot of looking into this one particular subject because one of my friends was knife. He was one of the victims of a knife crime. Yeah, knife crime in the UK is predominantly a knife crime. You know the offender. The offender who commits that crime to the person knows that person randomly walking into a house, burgling a house, or doing it me walking down the road or somebody else. It's near 9 on in. Never heard of. Right, like it as if you were going to get shot in America into a mall. Somebody walks into a mall, starts stabbing everyone, or somebody walks into a supermarket and starts stabbing everyone here. It's near enough unheard of. Only the last couple of times has been when we had them terrorist attacks, and the geezer attacked the other guy with a narwhal whale tusk to try and protect himself and a fire extinguisher. That's really randomly a one-off. Our kids, our teenagers, going and fighting postcode fights with another group of teenagers with knives, pulling them out and having fights. That's common. That's becoming more common. We've got an issue around that. But that's a knife crime on knife crime that people know each other. When it comes to like people burgling houses, it's absolutely rubbish. We had Tony Martin who shot the farmer. They broke into his mum and dad's house. They run away from him. As they run away from him, the two people that broke in, he shot them in the back, shot one of them in the back and killed him. He got life for that. They jailed him for life, and then they changed it from life to 6 years manslaughter in prison because everybody went mad about it. That was the last case that was ever heard of. The homeowner used excessive force. Now, we were allowed to use reasonable force, but not excessive. So in other words, if somebody comes into your house with a spoon and starts stealing ice cream out your fridge, you can't then go and get an AK-47 and shoot him and kill him. That's not the way it happens.
And it's a false equivalence, right, with the knives and the guns, because the gang crime, and even in a school, there have been old occasions where kids have taken a knife into school here, and it's awful. And if anyone is killed in violent crime, it's awful, even one individual.
Of course.
But when people go into schools in America, they kill like 15, 20 people with a gun, right? We're talking mass killings. That's the difference between knives and guns.
And that goes far as saying in America they shouldn't have any guns anymore because it's been going on for that. That's what it is once a month.
Can I please say something here about the topic? With all respect, Benji, just I need to talk because yeah. So yeah, of course. So you know, I don't think that this issue of crime rates it would be resolved with like you guys have been talking like looking for the magical solution. Okay, hey, either ban all firearms or just hey, let's compare it to no, let's keep them. But hey, look what you have. You have in your country, you don't have firearms, and yet you have a lot of crimes. Well, I think that you can't make first any comparison between the UK and the US because they are both so different countries, like very different countries. First, from the culture first. The mindset of people, the mindset of criminals. A criminal in the US would never do the same thing in the UK or like someone in the UK. If you compare, the kind of crime in both countries are so different, so different. And to be honest, the UK or in the UK would have like, I think, I'll correct me if I'm wrong, you expect, a more rapid and quick answer from security forces than the US, and then someone living in God knows where in the US, in that large territory, someone maybe in the mountains or I don't know in which hole, and being aggressive, and he needs to defend himself. I have my young brother, by the way, living in the US. I didn't say this to anyone, and he is married there. He has his own firearms, and when he talks to me about like, because we've had this discussion for a lot of times, and when he explained to me his perspective, why he is having this firearm, okay, and how is that important in the US, and how the Americans they see a personal firearm or a firearm inside your house, okay, you cannot disagree with him. You cannot, you see. And if you're gonna say, hey, those firearms are causing, occasional shooting, yes, they are so horrible, they are so terrifying. And personally, I would never, see myself living there. I hear about school shooting, and I say, hey, who knows that maybe, God forbid, my kid another day will be there, okay, victim of those school shootings. So I say, you know what? That country is not for me, okay? There are people who can adapt with that. Good luck. But at the same time, just a moment. Scotty, just a moment. So, but at the same time, I cannot, say that everything is okay in the UK because firearms are banned. You ban firearms, you know what you would have? You would have clandestine firearms.
Yeah, but that's not what we've had. We had. Can I just reference something really quickly? Right, so we had.
I'll let him finish because I think you want to say something.
We want you to respond to it. We want you to respond. We want you to respond to it. It's called an interjection.
Scotty, I'm gonna finish his sentence. You've been talking a lot.
We want you to respond to it.
Can you land those? Right,
So you would have like, if you ban them, you have other means of crimes, acid attacks, knives attacks, smuggled firearms, and maybe, and if it's not really hard, explosive. And you never heard probably about the 3D printed firearms. We can have them. Those you cannot even trace them. We cannot even detect them. You cannot even know who shot that person with God knows which firearms printed in some house with a 3D printer. Thank you for this.
Right. So first, right. So we had.
Where you going?
Okay, that's.
But I think his point was
Oh,
also
can I speak without being into? Well, yeah, I haven't actually finished, Dimitri. If you could stop it.
You were cutting over
the building.
You were cutting off Lula. We couldn't hear you.
Thank you, Sky. So first of all, can you hear me clearly now?
I can hear you, Lulu.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. So first of all, it doesn't seem like you know a lot about the UK because we don't have loads of guns being printed out and loads of clandestine knife crime. The last mass shooting in the UK was somewhere early 90s in Dunblane in Scotland, where a man who had an unregulated gun walked into a school and shot up a load of kids. Pre that, about 5 or 10 years before, there was another man that walked through the streets of Hungerford near Berkshire and did the same and killed loads of people. Both of those people had severe mental health issues and had access to guns. Guess what happened? We stopped people having access to guns and we haven't had a mass shooting since, thank God. There have been odd occasions, but we haven't got loads of clandestine shootings going on. That's not the case. You're not wrong, we have crime. But the point I'm trying to make is that you don't get mass
Fuck
killings.
Israel.
That was pleasant. You don't get mass killings from these things. What you do get is, thank you for the hearts as well, Brandon. What you do get is individual or smaller amounts of people impacted with those attacks. We've got problems. I'm not suggesting at all that the UK doesn't have problems, but I would never want guns here. And I'm so glad that after not even the Dunblane was a mass shooting. And straight after that, the law changed and we haven't had any mass shootings since. And please God, may that...
Yeah, you guys took away the guns and it was substituted with knives. So now you guys just...
Yeah, that's what
Right, and I've just said, there's not mass killings from knife attacks. Like,
Yes, there is.
There isn't resistance. There isn't.
Yeah, can I speak?
No, you guys are.
Yeah, let Dimitri go. Let Dimitri go.
Did
Yeah, let Dimitri go. Let Dimitri go, man.
Yeah, so initially when I first started speaking, one of the things I said is that I really don't like this idea of like absolutes, you know, and I think CPO kind of picked up on that like the US and the UK are very different kind of societies, there's a lot of different culture and things like that at play. But I think the bottom line is that there's no perfect scenario, neither in America nor in the UK. Whether, we don't have a big enough gun problem, we do have major problems, and we all know that theft right now in London is rife. And in a lot of cases, and I think it's a reasonable reaction, but more often than not, you have a few people chasing a guy with a Rolex who are wielding a fucking Bowie knife or a zombie knife, and he can't do anything. So I don't think that's a good idea either. But I think both of these places need some kind of like fucking intervention where someone steps in and says, really and truly, if someone's coming after you, you can go to this resort. And I think in America at the same time, there needs to be some more regulation. Now, I'm not saying that guns in the UK is the ultimate solution.
But you can't compare like having something
Yo, I keep trying to speak. Hey, hang on a second. I just want to say that I keep hearing Americans saying that, knife crime in UK. And yeah, there is some, but I think there's a really distorted view of lots of Americans that we have mass knife crimes like you guys have mass shootings in America. Nothing like that.
No one's saying is the same equivalent. What we're saying is there definitely is knife problems.
Nobody said anything against that.
You got
Nobody
dudes
said that's
walking
not
around
the
with
case.
machetes coming out of their underwear.
No, that's not happening all the
I'm sorry, I do have to agree with him. I do think that is actually a major problem.
You were just talking about a theft, though, Dimitri. You're saying someone's trying to steal something from you with a knife. That's not the same. Hang on. I didn't get a chance to respond to you before. You said someone comes after your knife for your Rolex. Well, you know what you do? You give them the Rolex. It shouldn't be happening, but that's not the same as being shot in the head.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
and
I
not
also
just
said
that,
that's
let me
not
just-
the ultimate solution. But I've also wanted to say quickly that my nephew, he's actually had a lot of trouble going to school now because kids on the tram on his way to school have zombie knives. So I have to actually go.
totally agree.
Like, it's ridiculous. It is out of hand. I mean,
Totally agree, but I want to just explain something to resistance.
Either here or there, but I'm saying there is major problems we need to address, right?
Totally agree with you. Right, listen, resistance, you've got to stop saying, for me, for instance, you've got things that, like, it's going on rife and it's around here everywhere. I just explained earlier on, before you got in the room, we have got an issue with knife-on-knife crime, but it tends to be 85% of the time, it tends to be that it's known offenders on each other, normally between the ages of 12 to 13 years of old. It starts at normally, and I know that's way too young, all the way up till the early 30s, and it's postcode. They call it like postcode gang basically. Gang culture, yeah. So I know I live in this postcode, that one lives in that one. He comes down my street. It's not random people. Normally, it's not random. Like he just said, it's very, very rare. Somebody coming up for his Rolex with a machete. That's quite rare. I know it's getting a problem in London with theft and all that. But when it comes to knife crime, it's normally known offenders on known offenders. As in just me walking down the street and getting hit by somebody I don't know, and randomly that's very far between. I'm telling you that now. I've lived here. I've walked these streets. I've been down these streets. I've been in Glasgow. I've brought up and bred in Glasgow, the biggest city in Scotland. And without a shadow of a doubt, I'm telling you right now, I've walked past gangs and they just haven't walked past because I'm not in that gang. If I was in that gang and I walked past, I guarantee I'm not walking past and I'd either get stabbed or something. And we're the biggest knife crime in the centre of Europe, in Glasgow, in Scotland. But it's gang on gang. It's not randomness. Now, you just put guns into them people's hands that have got the postcode thing going on.
I never said that. You put solution there.
No. I'm saying this is my point. For me, if you're America and everybody, and I know you're not going to agree with me because not one American I've ever spoken to in my whole life has ever agreed with me. If you've got rid of your gun crime, if you got rid of your guns altogether, and people would not be running around with knives going to go and stab because it's too much of a personal thing. So, for instance, me come running after, or somebody come running after you, resistance, with a knife, I can guarantee you probably take that knife off them and probably tether them, just because of who you...
Much, such that, like, there's no political dissension at all. There is no back and forth. There is no, like, discussion or rhetoric. Like, you say something about a particular government or even a member of parliament who's not even that high up, you get visited by what's called C10 officers, right, who operate like outside of their jurisdiction, operate in a completely different country. So for example, right now, as I'm saying this shit, right, luckily I don't have to worry about this, but as I'm saying this shit right now, it shouldn't surprise any of you if tomorrow you hear, oh, Huey's off the app. What's gone on with Huey? I got approached by C10 officers, right? It's the Central Intelligence Officers of Zimbabwe, right? Like, for criticizing the Zimbabwean government, even though
it's one of those things where people and their rhetoric, they have a right in this country. I believe in freedom of speech. But the reality is that people have the ability, not the right or even the legal right, but the ability to do unspeakable things behind being unhinged and hearing certain people's free speech opinions. So all that I'm asking from my fellow man is just to be kinder to each other. Tone down the rhetoric. Try to have the conversations without the gotcha moment, the aspersions, and the overall chaos that's gotten us to this point.
Thank you for that. That's important, and I appreciate you saying that. It seems like that's not very difficult to do, right? I mean, we're essentially doing that in the room right here. You have to pull out of people. You have to have a group of people together that authentically care about other human beings and who are intellectually curious enough to want to actually know what other people think. I mean, those are the two things it requires, and that's what we're failing at. No, it shouldn't be that difficult.
Mikey.
The
Mike
Moon
Show! You've been around me for almost those 5 years, right? What is the last thing I always say before I close the room? Do you remember? Does anybody recall? Anybody?
It's be kind to one another. I know you say that.
Yeah, it's free to be nice.
Yeah.
It costs you nothing. Just be nice to each other. We don't have to agree, but let's respect each other. I don't know why that's so hard. Because you're a Republican and I'm a Democrat, or you're a Libertarian. Who gives a fuck? I just don't understand.
And that's a message that needs to be said more than ever on 9/11 after yesterday. There's a lot of stuff going on right now. It's intense. It's deep. We're all feeling it from different perspectives. But we're all feeling the same thing. We're feeling the same thing from different directions. We need to realize that we have more in common than we have in common.
He lifted 2 buckets.
I don't know if we have any.
Now he had to pass through a narrow and sloping alley. He had to reach the top of the mountain.
Listen, if we have any
water into
God-fearing
the
people
valley.
in the
The
room,
condition was that his arms must remain open and his balance must not.
I don't know how y'all have been feeling. Right on, sister. Shout out to Sandra. I don't know how y'all have been feeling the past couple weeks, but after, oh Lord, let's see, the Ukrainian woman that was stabbed, the political violence that I've been following in Nepal, which is craziness. I'm surprised more people aren't talking about it on that Clubhouse. I just don't think a lot of people know what's going on. The Charlie Kirk situation, and so many other little, school shootings. Today I was going on my daily walk, and there's this church by me. Now, mind you, I haven't gone to church in years. But today I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start going back to church to pray for healing for humanity. I don't know how many people have been feeling that way in light of recent events. How many people feel like they just want to get closer to God or pray more or just surround themselves with, like-minded spiritual people? Because there's power in prayer, power in that collective energy of prayer. So I don't know if anybody is feeling that. This is kind of a rhetorical question. I'm just putting it out there that I was just called to come back to church today and pray for healing, for humanity, because I'm really scared of the direction that we're going. For the first time in I think probably in my life, in a long time, I was afraid to go out of the house today. I was afraid to walk 2 blocks to the store. I had to pray before I left the house. Please, Lord, don't let me get shot in the neck, or just let me get shot. Now, I know I live in a violent neighborhood, but you just don't know, right? So I don't know. We just need to collectively pray. I don't know. There's more of a statement than a question, ladies and gentlemen. I just want.
Thank you for saying that. And I have to say, I want to shout out Jarl's comment in the chat, which was, yeah, let's all pray to Grok, because that's a whole nother issue. I thought that was.
How you doing, Sandra?
I'm well, JB. I was wondering where you were. I've been looking for you the last few days.
I took a few hours on vacation.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. I'm glad to see you.
I'm glad to see you. The mic is yours, man.
It is a little scary. It is a little scary. And I do still pray. And I have been praying. And I'm just hoping that we can get out of this alive, because it's just so many different things going on right now. It's a lot of different things going on right now. So I'm praying. I'm trying to stay focused. I'm trying to stay positive, and it is a little scary. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little scary.
Do you know, Sandra? I'm listening to you. I'm listening to Nye, both women who I have the utmost respect for. And I'm gonna date myself here. Myself and probably Mike Moon and maybe Jordan and maybe a couple other people in the room. But I remember growing up under Ronald Reagan, right? No matter what you do, whether you're Republican, Democrat, there was this feeling amongst the country that America was on the upswing. And I grew up in Brooklyn, right? It wasn't the safest area, but there was hope. There was something there that we all gravitated to. Now fast forward to 45 years later, and it's not there anymore. How do we become so divided? How did this cultural war start? I mean, look, Nye is my ride or die on this app, right? We open rooms, she's always by my side. We have two very different political views in the world, but we still respect each other, we still like each other.